What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of J&B Unsupervised. As you see, we are social distancing now. We were too close for too long. We can't do it no more.
You stink.
We finally have moved downstairs to our man cave that Brandon has created in his house for us. It's amazing. We're still putting it all together, but first episode downstairs, new tripod, new equipment. We're loving it. Listen, we got an action-packed episode for you guys, and we're going to start this off right now with apparently, maybe 50-50, I don't know yet, we could be losing TikTok. And that is a big deal. Now, some people might not say that's a big deal. To other people, that is a pretty big deal, Brandon, because a lot of people make a living off that app. You can make a lot of money from going live to the
TikTok store.
The TikTok store.
Like me personally, I don't think it's a big deal if we lose that social media because just another app will pop up. There's already like Lemon 8, and there's another
the Red
one.
Note is another thing, but it's, so
TikTok has already came out and there's like kind of like not like really like I don't say endorsed, but like hey, this is like the other app that's going to take.
Yeah,
over.
like
If
it's
we lose TikTok.
But like we don't know if we're gonna lose TikTok yet. It's still ongoing. If it does lose it, we'll lose it on January 19th. Trump is trying to save it. Mr. Beast is trying to say he's in talks to buy it.
So is
some dude from Shark Tank. I can't. Mr. Wonderful off Shark Tank. He's trying to. So again, it's really tough, and I'm gonna be quite frank. The fact that we have these old, and this is disrespectful, respectful, say that these old fucking people that are in Congress that have been there for fucking centuries making decisions is ridiculous. About it's because of our data, bitch. I'd rather let China have my data. I don't give a fuck.
Well, when it comes to
like it's a bullshit lie.
What it is apparently it's a Chinese.
It's a Chinese-owned app.
It's a Chinese database, and what they're saying is that they used to spy on you, as if our own government isn't doing that already. It's a crock of shit. They don't want us to have it because TikTok is an app where we are getting the real news. It's getting the real shit to you. It's helping people with taxes, money. If you ask Trump, that's how they helped him reach out to our generation and the fresh.
Trump
voters.
literally said having TikTok helped him relate to the younger generation.
His son was like blah blah TikTok, and he got on like Joe Rogan's show.
Yes,
and a couple of those very popular podcast people's shows, and was able to reach out to the younger generation.
I'm not gonna lie. To lose TikTok would suck because I've built a massive following on TikTok.
Go following.
And I've met a lot of great people on the app. People that I would have never met if I didn't have the app. Gotten really close to a lot of people on the app. But if we do lose the app, again, we are not going nowhere. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on J&B Unsupervised. We also have a Facebook page. Right now the name is Unsupervised Podcast. But we're working on with Facebook to change our name. We're working on it. But it's just unfortunate that our government is so worried about an app. We have way other things that we need to be worried about in this goddamn country. But that just lets you know where our fucking priorities are.
Well, I just feel like it's kind of the last try to jab at the American people that the Biden administration can do since they not really the Biden administration, the Kamala administration / Biden lost to Donald J. Trump, now the 46th president, starting January 20th. And all I gotta say is, boy, you better come through that tax-free overtime.
Yes, I'm telling you, bro. Overtime being tax-free, boy, everybody gonna be working overtime.
Look, I think you said something about work has like full custody. My house has visitation rights.
You're not wrong.
Like I just see my house on the weekends.
But again, it's unfortunate because a lot of people do use TikTok to survive off of. We're in a different era. We're in that social media era, and you can make money off a lot of these apps. And it's not just TikTok. You can make money off Instagram. You can make money off Facebook and Snapchat and, all these other apps.
You get that OnlyFans.
You got OnlyFans, so clearly, OnlyFans motherfuckers out here making money. Like, we got morals over here, unfortunately. But in other news, though, again,
$20
might lose TikTok, might not. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we don't. But if we do, another app, like Brandon said, is just going to come and take its place. But we do have some actual news that actually is really good that our U.S. government did. The FDA did ban red dye number 3. Yep. Everyone's got 2 years to comply, and I'm actually really glad that we actually did something that's actually worth a damn.
That's actually good for the people.
That's good for the people because red dye number 3 is horrible.
Did you know it's in Doritos, nachos?
I didn't. What?
The nachos, Doritos?
I did not.
Red dye number 3 is in that.
Well, fuck me because I saw a picture. I saw a picture of Canada's like Fruit Loops and our Fruit Loops. I'm like, bitch, that makes fruit. Wow, that's crazy how. It's crazy when you look at some of the foods that we love and eat, and then you look at other countries and they're banned in, and then the reason why it's banned, you're like, damn, like, should I really be eating that shit?
It's not even a flavor thing. It's more of like, they say, well, it's more of like a appearance thing. You do realize, like, you can make the box or, like, the container that it comes in bright and colorful because it's supposed to appeal to the kids.
Yeah.
Or try to jump out at you, on the shelf to want to be able to buy it. You can do that all to the packaging. The same way, like, they do it on TV. Like, when I see Sonic's cheeseburger on TV, that thing looks banging. And then when I get it in real life, that thing looks like
sorry as a motherfucker.
I'm like, who sat on it?
Well, then you see how they actually do the commercials, and they're like, they put things in it to make it, especially like pizza, like, they drill screws in and make the cheese spread. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
I haven't got a cheese pull in a minute from the pizza. They got lied.
But I'm really glad that our government actually did something that was actually worth a damn. Like you said, the FDA says everybody's got 2 years to comply. So when you start to see certain foods look a little differently, don't freak out. It just means that it had red dye number 3 in it, and that's what it's actually supposed to look like.
Yeah,
so
instead of red dye number 3, it'll be natural color from.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize how bad red dye number 3 really is for you. It's really bad for you.
At the base of it, it can cause cancer in younger, in infants and young kids. It can cause like brain issues, so like Down syndrome and other effects to the development of a young child.
Yeah. But I'm happy they did that. Those are some of the big news stories that are going on right now. Like we did say, Donald Trump is taking over office on January 20th on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
How poetic.
So we'll have Donald Trump in office. And again, listen, we're not going to get too big into the politics here. But again, I think right now this country really does need Donald Trump. Regardless of how you feel about either side of the party.
Well, clearly everybody wants him.
Well, you just look at he did. And he won the young vote. He won a lot of votes that we did not think he was probably going to win. So there was a lot of.
I think a lot of people were just kind of fed up with the with the current administration that was in there, and they wanted to revert back to the previous.
Well, yeah, we talked about how Biden has done a lot of things that I question why he did that, but
But everybody has their own views.
Yeah, everybody has their own views, and look, we respect your views. Right or wrong, everyone has a reason for believing what they believe in. I'm happy that Trump's in for my job, for my purpose, the reason why I put food on the table for my family because of tariffs that he's putting in overseas to keep my job where it is at least for the next, 10 years hopefully, if not longer, depending on what administration comes.
You need a little more than 10 years.
Yeah, I do. I need a lot more years, dog.
Like 30?
Fuck you, but yeah, that's the real stuff that's going on. We're going to jump right into the sports world here. This is going to be a jam-packed episode of pretty much just NFL talk. Because there's so much going on in the NFL right now. Playoffs. But we're starting off with
coaching.
We're going to start off with the New England Patriots. So if you guys did not know, Bill Belichick was let go. Jared Mayo was the successor. 1 season, 4-12. Rookie quarterback took over. Drake May, high overall pick last year. I think he was the 4th? I know he's a top 5 pick. I can't remember.
Top 5 pick.
And everybody's like, they're going to keep Mayo. And then, rumors surfaced that Mike Vrabel wanted the Patriots job if it was available. Mm-hmm. And it came out, as we said last week, the Patriots no, we're not getting rid of him. And then, out of nowhere, they're we're firing Jared Mayo. Robert Kraft leads this whole damn press conference about Mayo's this great guy, great coach, but he's not ready yet, and it was a bunch of bullshit. We all know it was a bunch of bullshit. And then literally after we got done filming, a day later, if not that same day, I think it was, Mike Vrabel was hired as the motherfucker.
No, it was the same day as we were recording. We broke it, and I was like, oh, wow, you just got hired.
Oh, that's right. So Mike Vrabel is the new head coach of the New England Patriots. Now, there's no denying that Mike Vrabel is a great DC. He's going to bring a great defense.
And culture.
And culture. There's rumors that Josh McDaniels is going to be the OC. Don't know if that's 100% true yet, but that is just what is being reported. Now, the question becomes is what Mike Vrabel actually done as a head coach? What has he done for a quarterback? That is still to be determined because he hasn't done nothing yet. Ryan Tannehill was paid $118 million to turn around and hand the fucking ball off to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That's literally what the offense was in Tennessee when he was there. They had A.J. Brown for a little bit, then obviously the ownership and everybody traded away A.J. Brown. But very curious to see what he does with Drake May because Drake May surprised me and you with his gameplay. He was a lot better than we thought he was going to be. Yeah. And we owned up to that throughout the year, obviously over here on the podcast. But what is your expectations for Mike Vrabel? Like, do you have any? Is he got to be better than 4-12 than what Jared Mayo was?
Well, he's definitely has to be better than 4-12. Like,
I'm not saying playoffs or anything like that, but he's got to be better.
Team, but like, you definitely have still talent there, and they're flush with cash. Like, all the dead cap money has pretty much fallen off their books.
Big rumor is they're definitely going to try to make a big push. Well, last we knew, before Vrabel was the named head coach, they were going to be an all-in move on T. Higgins.
Which they got to get.
They got to get
Drake May a weapon. You have
because outside of Hunter Henry, he ain't got nobody. There ain't nobody.
He ain't got no weapon.
He ain't got nobody.
That's not a weapon. So they have to get some offensive talent out there, beef up the O-line, and they're going to be. I'm just kind of curious to see if the New England Patriots can actually draft and develop guys. We haven't really there's only 1 year removed from Bill Belichick. And what he was able to bring defensively, he was a great scout defensively.
Absolutely.
Offensively, about 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot white guys, perfect. Or murderous tight ends, 50-50. But
oh God!
But Mike Vrabel, I'm curious to see what he brings.
Again,
OC-wise.
We're not saying that Mike Vrabel's not a great coach, but what has he done with a quarterback?
What has he done remotely to deserve this kind of like job or pedigree to get somebody fired because he threatened.
He really did, but you could basically say Mike Vrabel got Jared Mayo fired because he wanted the Patriots job.
He threatened the Jets. I said, well,
I'll go to the Jets and he
interviewed for the Jets.
He did,
and then they fired Drake Mayo. They interviewed Mike Vrabel, and obviously they took the job and. Now we're here.
Like, we knew the moment Jared Mayo got fired, Mike Vrabel was like, dude, if he's not the head coach, then what was the point of firing Mayo?
I just think that it's kind of it's a fuck situation to fire him, but act like he was going to be this great head coach. It was just too early. Then why did you give him the job with a rebuild team?
Yeah.
But I digress on Jared Mayo because we won't know, and hopefully he gets an opportunity somewhere eventually in 3 or 4 years. But he hasn't developed nobody offensively when it comes to the quarterback. And you said Daniels. What has he done? He was a head coach for the Broncos. What did he develop there?
Nothing.
He went back to the Patriots. He left the Colts on the doorstep to be their head coach. Turned them away and came back.
Yep.
What has he developed? Well, Tom Brady. He had Tom Brady. He developed Tom Brady.
No.
Bill Belichick developed Tom Brady. Yeah. And
then Brady basically developed himself, and there was
so forth and so on for Tom Brady.
Alpha versus alpha at that point.
But Tom Brady is obviously a very high IQ player. Obviously, he's currently the reigning GOAT, and I don't know what McDaniels really brings offensively, or what he can do to develop a quarterback.
Yeah. So what's
the big question?
Again, if Jared Mayo was 4-12. What does Mike Vrabel need to be in year one? Are we saying
500? Damn near 500. That's asking for 4 wins.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm saying Mike Vrabel with a second-year QB with
if they get weapons, they have money to spend. Like you got to go out and spend.
Plenty of money to spend to bring in talent defensively and on the offensive line. You can draft Travis Hunter. You can trade out, not draft Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
You can go get T. Higgins and have Travis Hunter. You have a plethora of options there. The team's really set up to be very successful this year, if they spend their money right, unlike like the Jaguars.
And it's not like the division is like so tight. It's literally just Buffalo.
Well, I mean, you can't really count out the Dolphins. But focusing on the Patriots, they have to be damn near 500.
That's fair. I can rock with that. 500
all the money they have and the high draft picks and what Mike Vrabel is, because he's a great head coach. He is. He brings a great culture.
Yes.
The Patriots way.
No denying that. No denying
Very smart coach. I mean, he literally Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
In one of those games with the rules.
Yep. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll report more on that as next year comes along. But in other coaching news. The Dallas Cowboys moved on from Mike McCarthy.
No.
Well, Mike McCarthy moved on from the Dallas Cowboys.
The Bears, like we said, requested.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys said no, get bent. And so then they had until the 10th of January to come to a contract agreement. They could not come to a contract agreement. We don't know what the numbers was or what it was, but he's not a free agent.
We can assume,
we could assume that he probably asked Jerry Jones
to step aside and
kind of like relax on the reins.
But
probably said
the real conversation here is now supposedly, which I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh,
Deion Sanders is the lead candidate supposedly for the head coaching job, but
I personally don't think lead candidate is proper because he loves Boulder. But like you were going to say,
it's just. The Cowboys' job is not intriguing me because of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is never going to relinquish the power that he has.
What was reported was that Jerry Jones would need to step aside.
Yeah. So the report was Deion Sanders would take the coaching job if offered, but Jerry Jones would need to step aside. And when I read that report, I'm like, so Deion's not taking the job because Jerry's not stepping aside for nobody. Literally, he had Jimmy Johnson, one of the best head coaches at that time, and he still went some side. Jerry Jones let his own fucking ego get in the way of the Dallas Cowboys potentially winning more Super Bowls, and Jerry Jones walked out the fucking door. He said, I'm tired of this crap, and he left. Even Troy Aikman's got on there and said that Jerry Jones.
That was my biggest. And that's
Go for it, my man.
Hit on because Troy Aikman, who is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
A diehard. He takes the Cowboys so serious.
And he's in the Ring of Honor for the Cowboys. Has come out and said that it's the Cowboys, quote unquote America's team. I really don't think so. But
no, they've lost America's team.
But
go ahead.
But it's the Cowboys, and yes, it's the Cowboys. It's Jerry World. It's a stadium. It's blah 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 blah. But it's not as coveted as everybody tries to make it out to be because you are head coach.
You brought up an interesting stat,
but you have to deal with Jerry Jones. What other owner out of the other 31 teams, when the game is finished, has their own interview with the media?
Has his own radio podcast he jumps on and gets people in trouble.
Well, there's
shit. But like,
some owners they go do that because Clark Hunt he'll ever not.
But it's not like Jerry Jones.
Like that. But other owners they still do. They let their voices be heard from time to time. Let make that be very clear. But Jerry Jones
is always in the most.
Always out there, and he has to be known. Like if they are successful, it's because of him. And the Cowboys fans are just delusional.
But see, here's the problem with Jerry. When they're successful, it's about Jerry. When they're not successful, it's not my fault. Bitch, it is your fault. You're the head coach, the GM. Just like when he was like, we didn't know about Cooper Rush's incentives. Bitch, you made the contract, dog.
You're the GM.
You gave it to him. You knew what was in it, and you bitch because you didn't want to give that man his money.
My biggest thing is he said going into this last offseason to you Cowboy fans, we're all in. And
think about that. Derrick Henry's cap it was only $8 million. Think about that. And Jerry said no to that, Cowboy fans. Jerry said no.
To all in. He said they're all in.
He went with Ezekiel Elliott instead. You would have been better at running back for the Cowboys. No disrespect.
I mean, I took the money and ran. But it's not a very coveted job.
Like and he wasted so much time with the Mike McCarthy debacle, and like he missed out on a lot of opportunities.
It wasn't really a debacle because he wanted to try to get the best out of Mike McCarthy, which I do get, your head coach. But the fact that he wasn't willing to, if he really wanted him, which he clearly kind of thought he did, but whatever the negotiations whatever the holdups were.
I can tell you what the negotiations were. Mike McCarthy probably looked at Jerry and said, "Dog, you got to step aside.
That's probably
you have to move."
Probably what it was. But the biggest issue with Jerry Jones,
be an owner, not a fucking everything else.
That's right. But that's not the issue with the Cowboys. We're talking about the issues now. The issue with the Cowboys is solely that they pay everybody too goddamn late.
Because of Jerry.
Dak Prescott too goddamn because Jerry Jones. He pays because he's the GM. Because they draft great. Their scouting department there is great.
Yes,
they get great talent there within the first. They have 7 picks. They probably hit on 3 or 4. There's no debating that they have great scouting department and they do very good in the draft. But they pay those guys so late. Dak Prescott late.
Way too months too late.
Well, they franchised him way back, and then CD Lamb. They paid him way too late. The market reset, so you've had to pay him damn near Justin Jefferson money. Now, granted, the numbers kind of compare, but we all know Judd is better. Now Micah's up, but you have all your money.
Should have paid Micah for
you should have paid Micah last year, not roll it into this year. But now here you are, and they have 3 all-star players. They're going to have to pay. They don't have the O-line. They don't have a running back. Their defense was supposed to be a stalwart. Looked very good towards the end of the season. Looked like a probably top 15 unit. I don't like their DC. I honestly really don't like that.
The Cowboys fucked up by letting Dan Quinn walk out the door.
Absolutely.
We will die on that. And Cowboy fans know
that unit took such a big step. That unit was a top 5 unit with him. He leaves.
They
top 20.
Bad.
But you saw
they had injuries, but again.
Okay, but that's
everybody has injuries.
You remove Micah, and that's what they look like. You put Micah Parsons back, and then they obviously got way better with him in there. So that shows how much he's worth. Him plus what he does to the rest of the unit. They're going to be in cap hell and also pay him or not. But that's why that job is not so coveted because of Jerry Jones and his.
What job to you is less intriguing? The Cowboys job or the Jacksonville Jaguars job?
Cowboys job.
Cowboys job just because of the Jerry Jones.
Just because of Jerry Jones. Like, I can't. Because Jerry Jones.
Because you really can't be a coach with
Jerry Jones is the owner and GM. And at least if I'm going to go to the Jaguars, I can try to
be a coach.
I can coach, and hopefully the GM and owner are on the same page on what we're
pretty much at the end of the day, Cowboys fans, I don't know who your head coach is going to be because you've really missed out on everybody. Nobody, I don't think really anyone's going to be really interested. That's a big name.
No. Kellen Moore.
Oh, yeah,
Kellen Moore, who was their OC, was actually their QB there, but it was their OC then. And then
is he with the Chargers now?
No, got fired to be the Dallas Cowboys OC. Went to the Chargers 2 years ago.
That's right.
And then Jim Harbaugh showed up, or the Harbaugh brother showed up, and now he's with the Eagles.
That's right, Kellen Moore.
And now Kellen Moore has an interview to be a requested interview to interview for the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job. I'm like, you do realize you fired him under Mike McCarthy, right? He was the scapegoat, right?
So. Gotta love it, man.
But he's a Jerry Jones quote unquote disciple. Like, he will follow Jerry Jones, do what he wants. You need a yes man. Kind of like that's all you need.
Yep.
And that's what he'll do.
Again, I'll be curious to see who gets that job. And honestly,
I kind of hope it's Dion because I want to see that show. But I really don't want him to leave Boulder. But I want to see it because there's rumors that if he goes there, Dak's getting shredded. They'll eat the $170 million dead cap, and they'll trade whatever it takes to go get his boy.
The Dallas Cowboys currently hold the 12th overall pick. Dak in a 12th overall pick? Who you like?
Potentially you have to get him to at least the top 5. Because again, Dion's
Tennessee's not going to Tennessee. He's not going to.
They already said they're pulling Eli Manning.
So the only question mark is really the Giants because he wore Giants cleats. He was in New York, so really.
Yeah, but that's a division rival.
Yeah.
So maybe the Giants take him and be like, boy, you gotta give me 5 first ones. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But Mike McCarthy has drawn a lot of interest. The most interest really is the fucking Saints and
the Bears.
Because
obviously they were
requesting an interview. So
and now he has another interview with it. Well, it has now. We'll have an interview with him.
But yeah, that's really about the only coach.
How do you feel about Mike McCarthy though?
So I don't know
because he had a Super Bowl ring with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Yeah.
He's a winning coach.
Well, I saw a stat where they compared Mike McCarthy and Mike Tomlin side by side, and they're damn near equals.
I saw somewhere they said that they should swap. Yeah, they should swap, and I'm like, well, I guess Mike Tomlin's from the Steelers region.
So I don't know. Mike McCarthy is again. It's tough because how do you evaluate someone when you're with the Cowboys?
Well, you saw what he was with the Packers. I evaluate him with the Packers and I evaluate him with the Cowboys, and I see a guy that's
above average
head coach that on any given coin flip, odd year, weird twinkle of the nose.
It just comes right now. It just comes to show you how much sometimes you take for granted your Bill Belichick's, your Andy Reid's.
Let's put it this way: if I pluck Nick Sirianni out of the Eagles and I flick him away and I drop Mike McCarthy there with those coordinators and that team, Super Bowl
we got something. Yeah, I
without a doubt, best team in the NFC right there. That's like he's not like a high on my pick, but if I put him in like a perfect situation like that, absolutely.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But, again, we're going to keep you up to date with the coaches. Again, I'm assuming there's going to be some serious movement because there's a lot of coaching vacancies. Have to wait and see where these guys land. Really, the only coach that's really landed anywhere, like we already talked about, was Mike Vrabel with the Patriots and, so on. But one thing I do want to talk about, obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers were in the wild card round of the playoffs.
Yep.
They lost. So, I want to read an article that was posted about this. So, Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith reportedly had trouble working with one another with unsustainable rumors that Smith, the OC, preferred Justin Fields. Now, reports surfaced during the year that offensive coordinator Arthur Smith preferred Fields over Wilson, but was never substantial. Still, despite Wilson and Smith spending countless hours together, after the typical workday, watching film, publicly joking about it, a team source recently said and confirmed that Wilson and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith did not have a very good working relationship, but fought through their differences as best as they could. There goes Russell Wilson out the door. Because Arthur Smith ain't leaving. He's staying there with Mike Tomlin. That's already been confirmed. Mike Tomlin's not leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers already confirmed that because there was a lot of should the Steelers move on from Mike Tomlin because he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. It's not been good. But when you read that, that's not a recipe for success. If your quarterback, again, I think Russell Wilson's a great guy off the field. Obviously, great father, great family man, a man of God, all that. Great. That's great. But it's starting to see a trend here of Russell Wilson's not getting along with people.
That's not it. You have Justin Fields, a mid-age 20-year-old.
So who's this more on? Like who's this like?
That's not on anybody.
Like,
I think,
what do you make of it?
Well, what I make of it is that the OC wanted Justin Fields as his QB to call plays for because of his mobility. He's young, his arm strength, and the only thing that Russell Wilson had over him was he was more accurate. Russell Wilson is not the scrambler that he once was.
No.
He's shorter. He's harder to play.
So I guess really what I'm asking you is, does Russell Wilson return as a? Do you want Russell Wilson back with the Steelers?
No, clearly, if you date me back, what I've said, no, I didn't like him taking over the job from Fields. Now I do have to eat some crow because Russell Wilson had a great year, but I feel like Justin Fields gives them another dimension in that offense that at times got very stagnant with a very diva wide receiver in Pickens. And obviously their running backs are fickle at times with Najee Harris back there, who you would expect to be able to, get you at least 4 yards of carry, who struggles to do that at times. Yeah. But Justin Fields gives you a dimension of running, which is a big deal in this league. And when they broke down the actual film, Justin Fields actually saved a lot of sacks and actually made the O-line look better at times than what they actually were with his mobility. And I think it was a great placeholder because starting the season I wanted Russell Wilson to be the starter and let him
Yes, you were very. I want the people to know he was very adamant about Russell Wilson being the starter. Fresh, clean state. Obviously, got hurt.
He hurt his calf in mini camp and training camp, and Justin Fields led them to a great start.
I think it was like a 4-1 start.
I think so, something like that.
4-1, and then
he had a winning record with them and looked good. The offense wasn't crisp, but they were still.
The losses that they had were not Fields' fault.
The loss that they had wasn't necessarily the QB's fault, but they just don't fall away. But like the quarterback gets credit for wins and losses, like we always say. But I wanted him to sit and learn from a very similar type quarterback that was mobile when he was younger and could, how to handle an offense. And I still do think that Justin Fields is the quarterback for the Steelers moving forward. The LC wants that. That's what will happen, and Russell Wilson will be looking for a job elsewhere.
Yeah. What would you like I'm not trying to go on. If it's not with the Steelers, where would you like to see Russell Wilson? Just like, obviously, there's
ESPN or Fox.
Do you think it's time for Russell Wilson to hang it up? I mean, it's time in Seattle didn't end well. Denver didn't end well.
Well, obviously Denver was bad. Seattle didn't necessarily end well, but because it was Russ Cook. Obviously, Denver was not great.
Obviously, the Steelers was not bad. It was good.
It was successful, but you still got bounced in the first round. And they're trying to get over that hump since Big Ben.
Would the Jets be a suitable situation for him? No, you don't like that at all?
I don't like him really anywhere.
You just think it's time for it's either a mentor type role or just go ahead and hang it up.
You want a Joe Flacco role? I will give you a Joe Flacco role.
That's fair. I'm not going to argue with you on that either. Because
I just don't know what he doesn't offer me mobility anymore. We've seen him get snagged down from behind.
The best Russell Wilson that you saw is over with, though. Like you're not that. Those days are over.
If he wants to be a high-profile backup, like a Carson Wentz, power to him. But I don't. If I'm a franchise, there's no team I can currently think. There's no teams I'm like, you know what? He'd be great. He'd be great as a backup for the Commanders and Jalen Daniels.
That's fair.
That's a backup role, though. That's all I got.
But Marcus Mariota's done a pretty good job of that role for Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, that's great too. That's cool. Like, I'm not trying to take a job away from Marcus. Do
you think Russell Wilson can handle not being that?
No, No.
It's kind of like Cam Newton. Like Cam Newton was too big of a personality as Russell, even though Russell Wilson's not that caliber or just the album.
No, because Cam still says he's better than like most of the starters in the league, and I'm like, no, obviously
you gotta let it go.
Like obviously not, and that's not a shot, but obviously not. But you can still be in the league if you wanted to be as a great backup. Absolutely, and it would be great to have him, but no. And Justin Fields, I think, needs to return to the Steelers under Mike Tomlin's supervision with that OC, with this Pittsburgh Steelers, with that, and I think he would flourish there. Always thought that when they got him, but Russell Wilson, I think he's just too big of a persona to even be willing to take a backup role, like the Giants, I guess. So that way the best role, I got it. I figured it out, guys. The best role for him is for somebody that he can get abused while you train the rookie.
That's fair.
Like, go to the Tennessee Titans, get abused. That way the rookie, Cam Ward, potentially can learn and develop, and then 6-7 weeks in the season.
And that way you're still technically a starter. But it's just, you're...
Well, it's a one-year deal. You're going to get abused behind a battle line, but my rookie's not, and he can learn, and you can teach him. Or go to the Giants, and Shador can sit for 5-6 weeks. You can get abused. He can learn how to handle... Obviously, Shador would be great handling the media.
Yes.
In New Jersey.
Yes. It's not the New York Giants, the New Jersey Nets, because they are not in New York, motherfucker.
Technically, the Giants and Jets are in New Jersey, while Buffalo's the actual...
I just want you guys to know that generally fucked me up. Because, again, who the fuck getting on here searching up where the New York Giants are? I just hear you say they're in New York. Little do I know, my boy Brandon over here like, hey, do you want to, like, how smart do you think you are? I think I'm decently when it comes to sports. Where's New York located at? New York. No! They're in New Jersey!
You know where Buffalo's located?
In New York!
Okay, what about the Bengals?
Cincinnati.
Or Cincinnati?
Ohio.
Okay.
I literally, go search this shit up. You might learn a thing or two because it pissed me off. It generally did. But, moving on from that, real quick, I want to touch on quarterback Brock Purdy, 49ers. So, obviously, not in the playoffs. Rough year.
Russell Wilson there as a backup for Brock Purdy? Solid.
So, Brock Purdy came out and said that he would like to get his deal done as quickly and as soon as possible so he could focus on off-season training camp, get with the guys, not worry about the contract. Now, the rumor mill, the report is...
What is poor? Dude poor. Dude
got a roommate. Dude need his bed.
He bought all the trucks. He poor, dog. He's like, dude,
when I saw that he got every one of his linemen a Toyota Tundra truck, I'm like, dude, you have a fucking roommate, dog. How did you afford?
Well, as we know, it was because
again,
it was an
whatever bank the 49ers use. I need that bank. I need.
You think that bank will put some water down to kind of help the fires? No, pity. But anyways, Brock
Purdy wants to get his deal done. Now the report is we're looking at 5 years, $290 million, which I believe if you do the math, that's $58 million a year. 5 for 290. Am I right? I mean, is my math?
129 million.
290 million for 5 years.
229.
290. 290.
Oh, 290 million
for 5 years. Is that 58?
290 over 5 is 58 million.
So 50. So the reported deal is 5 years, 290 million, with 180 million in guarantees.
So,
do you like that deal that is being reported? Now, it's not the final deal.
No.
I agree. I don't like that. That's too much money for a guy that I believe that I think Brandon, who doesn't normally agree with me, would agree, doesn't elevate the talent around him to make them better. He needs pieces to be solidified to make things smooth.
He's trying to make it smoothie for him, apparently.
Smoothie.
I think that's too much money for him, and I think it's time that the league stops overpaying for these guys. I think it's time you stop overpaying quarterbacks that aren't guys that can elevate a lesser roster. And there's only a handful of guys in the league that can do that, and he's not one of them. It showed this year. I think he is definitely a franchise guy, but there's a difference between a franchise guy and an altering franchise guy that can alter your franchise and elevate you. He's not going to elevate you. He's not a scrambler. He's nothing overly spectacular. He can win you games, but as we saw this season, without CMC in the backfield, with missing Trent Williams, with
Debo in and out of the lineup, Brandon Ayuk for an ACL
out.
I mean, they went through running backs like dime a dozen. Good fucking God.
The 49ers just seems like they make the Super Bowl and then injury bug for a couple of years. Make the Super Bowl, then injury bug. But
NFC,
for him though, I would say a good per year, because per year, so it's over 5 years, whatever you guys want to make the math out to be. If 60 some plus million is Dak, they have him around 58. Honestly, I'm putting him I'll give you 35 million.
Let's say 40 max, no more than 40. No,
I'm not going over 40. If you want that, I'm test the market and see what you get.
Go get
and you want to walk, because if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I know
I can go get a quarterback to put in there and be good. But we're not going to dwell on that. That's the report. We'll have to see what happens. We're not going to dwell. We're going to get more into his contract as we go along. But I do want to talk about something you saw. The Roger Goodell wants to change some rules that has got Brandon really fired up.
I think it's stupid.
Go ahead, let the people know.
It sounds a whole lot like the NBA, where your divisions, why do you have divisions? They don't make no sense.
Yes.
Currently, as y'all know, in the NFL, if you don't know, I'll give you a quick little brief. In the NFL, you win your division, you're locked into the 1 through 4.
Yep.
Depending how it is, you don't have to worry about the wild card spot. But in the NBA, we don't care if you win your division or not. It's slated 1 through 8, top 6 go, and then you offset the plays. But with Roger Goodell,
and the NFLPA will talk about this offseason.
Yep.
The plans are considering change to the playoff format during the upcoming offseason, particularly about seeding. One possible change could see the wild card round home games go to teams with the highest winning percentage rather than division winners. Then you might as well just get rid of the divisions altogether and have NFC and AFC. And if you're going to have the division winner not be awarded a home playoff game. But the craziest
Why do you think he wants to do this? Like, I genuinely confused me. Like,
because there's teams, although like this year is a prime example. We had teams in the wild round that had more wins than the team that they faced, a lot of the Commanders, but they still won. And honestly, I think that's crap. You should be awarded for winning your division. I can't help if my division is crap and I'm a crap team, but I win. If you're a great team, you can travel. Kansas City Chiefs traveled. They traveled but one game last year. They had the wild card. They won the division. They played the Dolphins at home. Took care of business.
Absolutely.
That's crap, and I think that ruins the integrity of the game, and it pushes you more towards the NBA's slate when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It just you get rid of the divisions, then just have AFC and NFC, and take the top. Was it 7 teams?
Yeah.
Then they just take the top 7 teams.
I agree, man. I don't like it. I don't know what Roger Goodell's plan is. I mean, we already know he wants to make the regular season 18 games. He wants to go to 2 preseason games. I apologize, 2 preseason games. I don't know what this man's doing, but he needs to stop.
Honestly, since we're talking about rules and format change, I think they should get rid of the 7th wild card spot and go back to the original format. Give the number 1 and number 2 seed the bye week, and have 2 wild card teams. Since they've done this change, we've only had 1 7th seed win it.
Yeah.
And just think, if that be the case this year, all you Bengals crying fans, you wouldn't even had an opportunity to get in.
That's fair. That's hella fair.
None of them won. We saw the Broncos get in and get demolished by the 2 seed Buffalo Bills.
So we're going to jump right into that. So, obviously, Buffalo and Denver played, and listen, Denver had me for like a couple minutes. That first drive, woo! I thought Buffalo might have been in trouble, but Buffalo Bills came in. They handled their business. Now, I want to strictly stick on the Denver Broncos. So, clearly, Bo Nix is looking like might be the franchise guy, right? Like,
it looks like they have,
which we expected him to look like, considering he spent like a damn near decade in college. I expect you to look good, but the question is what you saw from Bo Nix, can he get better than what you saw? Or can like, in your opinion, do you think he can get better than what you saw?
I think he has a great mentor and QB coach in Sean Payton. Now the question always comes down to a guy that was that long and that much film in college. Where is the floor and where is the ceiling and how far apart is it? The biggest question, and we'll get the answer because I'm not sure. I think he's personally, in my opinion, close to his ceiling, but Sean Payton might, bump it up just a tier because of how great of a coach in QB and offensive mind that he is. But I think he's very close to what he can be, in my own opinion. But we'll really get a perfect, as we always see, like CJ Stroud, the struggle in the second year. With the films completely out now to everybody in the league. Obviously, because the jump from college to pros is different. We'll really see what Bo Nix is, but he had a great year.
Absolutely. He had a great year. It was a struggle in the beginning. Obviously, Sean Payton's playbook is no joke to learn, as you see with the weird-ass play calls that Sean Payton be putting out there.
But you expect
shout out to Bo Nix, but Buffalo made light work. That's what Buffalo wanted. They wanted the Denver Broncos. We gave it to them. They made light work. I'm not going to dwell too much on the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, they came in, they handled business, they did what they needed to do. They are now going to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we're not going to talk about that game yet. We're going to get there.
But on the Bills-Broncos game, 31-7, do we really need the 7th seed making it for a 31-7 game, or does the NFL just really want more money?
That's for... What do you guys think? Like that's really what it comes. What do you guys think?
Why do we need it? Yeah. Give the top 2 seeds the bye week like it was before. Like the 6th seed is really the best. But we've seen teams make runs out of there, and we've only seen
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning has made it out of the 6th seed as a wild card team. But
made a Hall of Fame career from that season.
Potentially. There's one 7 seed that has won it, and then they got demolished, and that's been that.
So, the other playoff game that I want to talk about was the Commanders in the Milwaukee, or sorry, not the Milwaukee.
Good.
Not Milwaukee, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My apologies. Listen, before we get into that game, I just want you guys to understand that the Washington Commanders last season, under Ron Rivera, who was their head coach, 4-13. This year, under Dan Quinn, new ownership, new everything from top to bottom. Shout out to the Commanders. Rookie quarterback Jalen Daniels, who Rookie of the Year. We can obviously
that's pretty sick.
Dan Quinn, probably Coach of the Year now.
Yeah.
Playoff team. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20. Washington fought hard. They were very scrappy. Now, mind you, I picked the Bucs to win the game. I thought a veteran team, thought they were going to come in and handle business. And that was no knock to the Commanders. But Jacob was wrong. A la Brandon would say, as usual. Fair enough.
Pretty much.
But Dan Quinn's obviously Coach of the Year. He wrapped up Coach of the Year with that win right there. Jalen Daniels, Rookie of the Year, obviously. The biggest takeaway from this game, in my personal opinion, was Jalen Daniels handled the big moment very well.
Well, we've seen it throughout the year in the biggest moment, which, like, I kind of looked like that. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Plays, and that's what
Jalen Daniels gave you those
Jalen
plays.
Daniels, it was the Bengals game. And
yeah.
He gave. It was that throw.
Boy.
It was
that what in like cover 2, boy laid it on a dime, dog.
While getting hit, it was like, damn. Like,
and he knew he was getting hit.
He just like, you watch him and he makes like those damn plays. Or the Hail Mary against the Bears.
Yeah.
It was like, damn. Like when he feet to the fire
and
he showed out.
And it's unfortunate because
so I'm not surprised. I'm not really surprised that he was ready for the moment. And
they did capitalize on a big mistake by the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
They were running basically a wildcat type play.
It was a jet sweep.
There you go. Jet sweep. Baker was a little late or a little early, however you want to look at it. They fumbled, and the Bucs lost the ball. And that was the difference in the game because the Washington went down, scored. Bucs couldn't do nothing with it. They got a field goal range. The dunk for the win. So the Washington Commanders move on. What's next for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Obviously, Baker found a home. That's Baker's home. But what do the Bucs need? Like I don't know what they need. Their defense kind of old.
Well, I mean, you gotta
do like a retool.
There's a little bit of retooling there, a little bit of retooling in the secondary and the D line.
Granted, the division isn't all that.
The division's very weak. So like this is the second year they've been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
With Baker. And so it's kind of hard to say what you really got to do. You got Mike Evans coming back, another 1,000-yard season, looking to break Jerry Rice's record at going 12 straight. You have 11 straight.
Looking forward to that.
Jerry Rice, the GOAT wide receiver.
So, but shout out to the Commanders though. Dan Quinn's got these guys playing great football.
Well, the thing is though, is that you give enough credit. Is that like you look at that roster and it's like probably like maybe above average defense. Like, you have one great skill guy in Scary Terry. Your running backs are, like, okay. They're average. And they're doing all this.
Yeah.
And a very, in a very tough NFC. And they got a playoff win with a rookie QB with not a rookie head coach by no means because he's been a head coach, but with a new head coach, with a new owner. Doing all this is hilariously impressive, and that's honestly why that Jalen Daniels, in my mind, got the nod to be a Pro Bowler. Why he was in consideration for a little bit for the MVP this year.
And that's impressive. In a rookie in the MVP conversation, so shout out to them. But the Commanders are moving on. We'll talk about them here in a little bit. Next game, Packers-Eagles. The Eagles won this game 22-10. I guess the question for me, I have to ask you, Brandon. There's two things we want to talk about in this game. One, we know the Packers need wide receiver help. They need more wide receiver.
Do they?
I think they need a little bit more wide receiver help.
I think so.
But I have to ask you, is Jordan Love an elite quarterback? Is he that dude?
As
There's some people out there that question, is he that dude?
As To me, no. I don't think he's currently. He's still very young into his career.
Yes.
But currently standing, the big moments seem like they
scare him.
But it also seems like he gets his head coach. So it's kind of hard to say that it really falls solely on him.
You okay?
But because that game was ugly.
It was.
On really both sides. The Eagles slept. It seemed like they were sleeping through most of it.
A lot of people also said they felt like Jalen Hurts was rusty. Do you think Jalen Hurts was rusty? He hadn't played a game since December 22nd. Been in concussion protocol.
Well, you haven't played,
But it's great when you have all the talent you have around him. You have a great OC.
You can be rusty. Look, if rusty means I win, then I guess I'm rusty.
Now, another part of this game I want to talk about. Do you have a problem with A.J. Brown reading a book?
Hey,
on the bench during a playoff game, do you have a problem with
that's his notes? That's just how we see how the game.
Jalen Hurts said he never seen him read the book. And it's always in his hand. So
hey, I mean, maybe he ain't looking when he has it in his hand.
Fair enough. But
I just know if AJ Brown had 8 catches, 160 yards, and 2 tutties, that book ain't there.
That's fair enough.
And I just know AJ Brown made that author really famous.
Yes, he did. It's the most selling book on Amazon. So, but the Eagles are moving on. Packers, they got to look at themselves in the mirror. Next game. This was the game that, honestly, I wasn't surprised about, and I felt bad for the Minnesota Vikings. They faced the LA Rams. They lost this game 27-9. And I'm going to keep it short. It was belt to ass all game. The Rams were on that ass. Like, it was Sam Darnold's first real moment to be in the playoffs. And it was just unfortunate he ran up against a team that nobody wanted to see in the NFC. The Rams was that team you did not want to see. And that's basically what happened. What's next for Sam Darnold?
Well, when you bring up Sam Darnold, I think it's not on him. If you either watch the film, either watch the game, or you watch the highlights.
I think they were completely outplayed, outcoached, top to bottom.
But I think Sam Darnold, what it sounds like in the press conference, that he's gone. He's going
somewhere else. So you bring that up. So Kevin O'Connell says that he appreciates Sam Darnold, but says things didn't work out in the end. I just want to say it's very important we all think about Sam's body of work. What he was able to do this year, when not many people thought he would do and be able to lead a team to 14 wins. It did not work out in the end, and I think Sam would be the first to tell you, could he have played better last night? I'm sure he would. Tell you he could. Could I have coached better? I'm pretty positive I could have. I just want to say thank you to Sam. That pretty seems like the motherfucker ain't coming back.
Well, it sounds like they don't have much intention to bring him back. I think they should bring him back.
Yes.
And I think that then he should bring him back and look at bolstering that O-line that it was a gusher. It was a gushing ass nosebleed. As soon as he had the ball, pressure was on him. It was ugly and not on him. And I think Sam Darnold he'll get paid, and whatever he gets paid, I think that's probably we'll talk about Brock Purdy should be kind of in line around the same kind of money. And I'm happy Sam Darnold don't get his money, but you have a problem in that game with Matthew Stafford's fumble, review change back to.
I didn't say I had a problem
with
Bill Belichick didn't like it.
I don't give a fuck what he wants. He's not even in the NFL. That's how shitty he is. He can't even He can't even be head coach of an NFL team. Why don't you?
Well, he's not technically a college coach either.
Okay, that's great. He's not in the NFL either. So why don't you like that? Why do you think
Bill Belichick said?
I don't care what he said.
That defense can't do anything. It's all.
That's not saying why you don't think it's a fumble. Why did you think?
The only reason I didn't think it was that I thought it was a fumble is he ran into the defensive guy. That defensive guy didn't run into him.
I can run into you. We see Patrick Mahomes run into people all the time and throw it.
Yeah, but at least it hit somebody.
No, it almost hit Puka Nacua in the leg. He shovels it all the time. Travis Kelce throws the ball backwards all the time.
Again, I'm not mad. I just think it was like because your eyes look at it like we could see that same play again, just like that, and they would probably call it a fumble.
Absolutely not.
If that was Will Levis. Is that a fumble?
No, it's incomplete.
No, I think they called it a fumble.
They called it a fumble, reviewed it, saw that he flicked it out. That's a pass. It's a forward pass. No matter if I'm getting ripped that way and I go like this, you see his whole arm go out. and
I think some people look at that play and they think wasn't Stafford.
I bet all the Vikings fans look at that and cry and say that was the difference maker. Okay, that would have tied it up at 10-10.
Some people from years ago, decades ago, look at the Tom Brady's fumble against the Raiders.
Well, that was a tough rule, but
it was a fumble and they called it back.
That wasn't a fumble.
But it was a fumble. According to the rule book at that point in time,
Brady's was. I'm not talking about Brady's because yes, that was a fumble. There was nothing going on there. But he literally, if you watch the film, you watch the replay, you watch it in fast, you watch it in normal speed.
Bill Belichick.
Go like that. I don't care what Bill Belichick
said he didn't like the fact that it was not considered a fumble because he ran into the defender guy when he went to go throw it and he lost it as he went to go.
I don't see nowhere he lost it. I don't care what Bill Belichick said. I'm asking what you think. You don't use somebody else's.
I think it was a fumble. Because he lost it as he was trying to go. So the ball's already out of your hands.
He didn't lose it anyway. He lost it.
It's tough because when you go reach it back, there's a motion. So how am I supposed to know the motion if your hand is underneath you and you go to pitch it?
See his wrist flick, everything flicked out.
So what is the rule? So you have the rule when you go back. There's no rule to say when the ball's underneath you.
Still it's a forward motion.
How's it a forward motion if your entire body's bent to your goddamn leg and I'm looking down?
So do you not know where your arm's at? Do you not know what does this look like to you?
So how am I supposed to know if it's a pass? If you didn't drop it, at least here you have more to look with your hand.
Look.
But you could have dropped it, not flicked it. To me, that's a fumble. That's not a drop. You fumbled it.
Good drop. That's not what he did. I'm glad we're on the same page now because he went.
He's getting hit as he's going. So it's
yes, he's getting hit like every quarterback does, and he flicked his wrist. Everything was flicking out.
I'm not mad at what it was called, but I just think it was a fumble because a lot of people are going to look at it if it was Will Levis or Malik Wills or Gardner Minshew, AJ O'Connell. They're not going to get that same call.
You could have a Canadian League quarterback come and play.
I'm saying that we're going to see that same type of play again, and they're not going to call that an incomplete pass.
They will overturn it and call it incomplete.
Well, we'll have to wait and see because if it's not, then you're going to have to get on here and defend why they called it a fumble for that quarterback.
It's so clear as day if you take the bias out of it. You see everything as an emotion, as in a passing motion that all these quarterbacks do now.
And how's it a passing motion? If I'm looking down at the ground.
No pass. How is that?
But at least he made it. That ball didn't go nowhere.
And quarterbacks shovel it all the time.
Who did he shovel to? His offensive lineman?
Puka fucking Canoe was standing right there.
What, 10 yards away from him?
He was literally right there. It can't be 10 yards away. Otherwise, it's intentional grounding.
It's hard. How does Stafford know he's over there? Stafford's looking down. Stafford
that was the play he was supposed to end over there. You're giving him zero credit to where he thinks where his guy is supposed to be. Every quarterback knows where his guy is supposed to be. He was supposed to come in a motion. He was supposed to sweep across right into his left tackle. That's why he was getting hit. He didn't run into his own guy. The pockets collapsed on him trying to escape and toss it out that way to his guy that was supposed to be on the right side. He knew he was there. If you watch,
it's just tough because he's looking down. When he's looking down,
he's getting spun around and his guy's there. The biggest question is, I can't help that you still think it's a fumble. It's the flick. Everything's there that it's a forward shovel pass.
Again, it is what it is. I can't change it, but a lot of big experts, defensive guys, think it should have been a fumble.
They're clearly not in the league because Bill Belichick.
There's guys in the league that think it was a fumble.
That was so not a fumble. The thing, what I want to ask you though is, there need to be a change to the rule of a quarterback just dirting it like that?
I think the intentional grounding needs to basically be gone. And we talked about that earlier. Intentional grounding needs to be gone.
In what circumstances does that need to be gone? Does it need to be completely wiped away if you're getting hit and you throw it? Sat, or how do you need to change?
I think the obviously in the pocket still needs to matter. You need to be outside of the pocket, obviously, but the intentional grounding outside needs to be gone because, again, the play is get rid of the ball. Don't take an unnecessary sack. Get rid of the ball. So if I get rid of it,
get out of the tackle box.
Obviously out of the tackle box.
Move the line. That's all you have to do. But if you get out of the tackle box, you have to have it a wide receiver, running back, or tight end in the vicinity.
But no matter where you chuck it, regardless of where it ended up, I don't think there should be any intentional grounding. As long as you were outside of that box Somebody was over there.
It doesn't matter if you're outside the tackle box. You can throw to Timbuktu as long as you pass the line of scrimmage. It doesn't matter if you're ready to get sacked. I'm saying you're inside the tackle box like Matthew Stafford was. And as you're trying to accord, he had no idea that the play that was going to Puka Gunu, he had no idea he would be there. So why is he throwing it there off the grace of God that hopefully somebody's there, according to you? So why is there? So you're saying I'm saying that you get rid of intentional grounding.
Yes, I think the intentional grounding
because quarterback to do it because a running back to be in to block.
Well, there's times they call it grounding. You're like there should be
the running back to be into block. He's into block. Quarterback getting hit and he dirts it at the running back. So I'm saying, what I'm asking you, should they get rid of the ability to throw it in the vicinity of somebody and have intentional grounding? This should still be
I think that should
because that's a scapegoat. Like I'm getting drugged to the ground. When you're over there somewhere, I threw it and run your team.
Even though he wasn't part of the play, but he's technically there.
To me, that's something that the NFL needs to look at more than trying to figure out the playoffs and trying to get rid of the division.
Yes.
I think we need to look at more of helping, not necessarily helping the defense, because again it was a pass, but to getting sacked.
To me, the only thing I want to see them do is let motherfuckers hit again. Like, bro, stop making all this.
I think their hitting is honestly fine. They fixed that in there. Athletic enough, you can fit. They've done great, but being able to just throw it in the vicinity of a guy, because like you said, like you feel he had no idea he should be over there. I mean, he does because that was the play call.
Yeah, and the play call he knew he should have been over there, but like more just being able to
There was a ditch effort to throw there, so he didn't take sack. Something has to be done with that to award the defensive guy get in there. I have you, but like you said, I'm not hitting once. I'm not allowed to just pile drive you.
Yeah,
I'll get a flag, so I have to hit you some kind of way, and some guys don't fall as easy as others.
Some guys
and
really
I think they need to look.
And some guys can't move all that weight to the left and the right.
I think they need to do something about them just dirting it or throwing it over in the area of a guy just to avoid a sack.
So, let's see what the NFL addresses again. Stop worrying about the wrong things. Address the things that really need to be addressed. So we'll see what happens. But moving on to the games that we have coming up this weekend, we're going to start with our Kansas City.
The Steelers and Ravens. Ravens beat the Steelers 28.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
I guess we did.
We did get all those games last week. The Chargers, we got all those games last week.
To the Texans 32-12.
So, the games this week, we're going to start with our Kansas City Chiefs. They have the Houston Texans. Any thoughts you want to bring up on that game? Thing you want to touch? I mean, Chiefs have had some serious time off, about 3 weeks off.
I personally think that we will be rusty.
Yes.
And I think starting out on defense will probably be best for us. To have the ball at halftime is always big in the playoffs.
Yes.
Last time we played the Texans, we fell down big, came back, mollywopped them. But it's it's the first time that Hopkins has faced his former team in the playoffs.
Yes.
Reed, who Dirty Dan tackled in that big game.
We are obviously Chiefs fans. Obviously, what percentage do you give this Houston Texans team against our Kansas City Chiefs? Because everybody else is like this. This is like a Kansas City.
Any given Sunday, anything can happen.
So, what would, in your opinion, need to go right for Houston to get this game over the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, it's like CJ got to be perfect. Joe Mixon got to go crazy.
You're gonna have to see in my opinion. I do think the Chiefs will probably win this game by 2 scores.
Fair.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout by no means, but I think they're going to handle the trenches. I think the Chiefs are going to handle it. We're going to start out slow. We're going to be
Chiefs
sluggish.
are all healthy, so that's
all
good.
Healthy. Everybody's been practicing.
Outside of Rice,
well, obviously. But I think the Chiefs will eventually end up handling business by 10, 12, whatever you want to call it. They'll win by double digits. But for the Texans to pull it off, the defense is going to have to come up with turnovers. Offense is going to have to be clean. And C.J. Stroud's going to have to be otherworldly.
That's fair.
And I don't see the O-line giving him time.
No, his offensive line is really
strong. I think we'll shut down the one and only really option.
Trent McDuffie's going to go put the strap down, I think, on Nico Collins. We're getting Watson back, which is very huge for the defense.
It'll be very huge. And our run game is elite. It's a top 5, top 3 unit.
Yes.
And Joe Mixon wasn't a factor last time. It's not going to be a factor this time.
No.
And we're going to be healthy and hungry. And honestly, I feel sorry for the Texans because they might get an ass whooping that they necessarily weren't meant for them. Because this is what we've been waiting for all year. Some people said like the whole season was just practice, and you're going to see some funny shit from Andy Reid in the offense.
So, again, our Kansas City Chiefs picking Chiefs. Obviously, I agree with Brett. I think it's going to be about a 10 to 14 point game. So
they're going to stress us out, but
it's going to be stressful in the beginning, and then they'll pick it up.
I think they're going to stress it out with some fuck up shit, but I think they will get it going because they will be slightly rusty with about a month off.
That's fair. Moving to the NFC side, we have the Lions versus the Washington Commanders.
Well, that could get a high-scoring fight. No defense for the Lions.
I will say this. Dan Campbell is very gutsy and sometimes takes some unnecessary risks that sometimes pay off. Doing that against a Dan Quinn team like this team that is hungry and out to prove their worth in a lot of ways, however you want to take that, can be very dangerous for Detroit.
Well, the biggest question, the Lions should handle business with ease.
Now, theoretically, like you said, the Lions should.
I think the Lions, I hope they don't because I want a good competitive game, but I think the Lions will take care of business and shut down the rookie.
This is a high pressure game for Jalen Daniels, and it's
another stepping stone for him, but it's also big for Jared Goff.
Yes.
And his Lions.
Very big for Jared Goff. But I honestly think the Lions should handle this game by 3 scores, personally.
They should.
This should be a 3-score game without question. But if you fuck around, you could find out very quickly.
If they do fuck around, they will find out by the Commanders because they've been showing.
But I agree that this could be like in the 30s, if high 20s, high 30s game.
Well, you could probably close to almost 40 points for each team
But we also know Jared Goff can sling that thing and turn that thing over. We've seen that too, so he's got to be careful. There is no David Montgomery in this game.
No.
So it's
he
just
potentially return in the NFC Championship game.
So moving back to the AFC side, the game that everybody's looking for: Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Harbaugh, and the playoffs. Coaching's been very suck. McDermott can fuck up defensively.
He can fuck up just in general.
So, what are your feels for this game? Last time these two teams played, I think it was 45-10. Buffalo got waxed.
Derrick Henry ran all over them, and I've said all year that I think Buffalo's defense. I've been high on Buffalo, so this isn't even a shot at Buffalo, but Buffalo's run defense is not very good this year. Remotely close, and Derrick Henry with Lamar. The only chance I give Buffalo is if they can get out to a lead.
Yeah.
If they can get out to a 2-score lead.
If you get out to any lead, it takes away the run game from Baltimore and Lamar Jackson tries to play.
So scared, and they try to make Lamar Jackson put on a Superman cape, and he just can't in the playoffs.
Give me Lamar Jackson's record in the playoffs, please. Fam, give me his record. What is his record in the playoffs?
So Lamar Jackson, in 7 games, has won 3 games.
Who are the 3 quarterbacks he's beat in the playoffs? Do you remember off the top? I think it's what?
I can't remember.
I can't remember, but it's not. And then Josh Allen
has 11 playoffs with 6 wins and almost 3,000 yards, and he has 23 touchdowns to 4 interceptions.
And Lamar
has 8 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
And that is those games where Lamar has to put on that cape, and it just doesn't always work out for him. Now, this is the game battle of the 2 MVPs, Lamar and Josh. And
Josh is potentially becoming an MVP while Lamar Jackson is a 2-time reigning MVP.
Yeah, so this is the game that everybody's really looking forward to. I'm going to be definitely tuning into this game because I'm curious to see what happens. Just because you beat me in the regular season does not mean you're going to beat me in the postseason.
If they can shut down the run, if they can, the best chance to ever beat the Ravens is to make them pass the ball.
Yeah.
And
Zay Flowers is probably going to be back, but he's going to be banged up. That's something to watch out for.
He's going to be a little hampered, but to me, Buffalo's best chance is to get a lead and make them put the ball in Lamar's hand and to contain him.
Yes.
That's the best way to beat the Ravens is contain him. And if Lamar runs all over you, that's cool. That means if Derrick Henry's not running all over you, that means Lamar is. And Lamar having to run means he's not throwing the ball, which means you're winning because you're hitting him.
Yep.
And that's the success to beat the Ravens.
Yeah, the success to beat the Ravens is make Lamar Jackson either run the ball,
which is scary,
or throw the ball. And if he's throwing the ball, that's good for your defense because you have a chance to pick him off because he's being forced to do something that he's not. That's not that he's not good at it. But it's not his best attribute to sit there in the pocket and try to make.
For whatever reason, it's just not a good recipe for the Ravens to try to lean all on Lamar because he hasn't been able to prove that he can come through in the clutch and get it done.
Yes.
As we see to his playoff record, it's not good. 7 games, he's 3-4.
Yeah.
3 wins, 4 losses, and that's not a recipe for. Obviously, not a recipe for rest success considering he only has 1,500 passing yards. 8 touchdowns and 6 picks.
Yes.
Like, it's just showing me that you can't light it up throwing the ball in the playoffs.
Very true. And then moving back to the NFC side, we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm here to tell you, I think the Eagles could be in big trouble here. Like, I just think the Eagles could be in trouble. And it has nothing to do with the fact that the Eagles got a great DC. Eagles got a great offensive coordinator. They got Jalen Hurts. They got Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
But this Rams team, I think people forget, was projected to be a top 3 seed. But in the first 4 weeks of the fucking season, they lost everybody. Everybody went on IR, and they got together, went on a big streak. And we've said it all along. This Rams team got in the playoffs. Nobody wanted to see him. And Minnesota had to see him in the playoffs. And like I said in the beginning of the podcast, it was belt to asses all game. What is your expectations for the Eagles against, obviously you saw what the Rams defense did to Minnesota.
Well,
Sam Darnold clock was fucked from the beginning.
Well, we saw what the Eagles look like, and we saw what the Rams look like. And I just got to tell you, the Eagles have way more talent on defense than the Rams do. But the Rams defense, that young defense, looked way better than the Eagles defense looked. Let alone the offense for the Rams looked way better.
Sam Darnold
than the Eagles offense looked.
Matthew Stafford was cooking against Minnesota.
And when Matthew Stafford is such a very streaky QB, if he's hot, like you're not going to necessarily cool him off in a game. And if he's hot, like he got hot the very first time he was with the Rams and then went on to win the Super Bowl, he was just on. Now, if he's on, the Eagles are going to be in the low for a long day because, again, unfortunately, Jalen Hurts did look like he had rust.
Yes.
The wide receivers weren't getting open against the Packers. They still got the dub. Saquon Barkley had a great game, but you're not going to be able to rely on Saquon in the run game if you have to score points. And the Rams are going to make you score points, and that Rams defense is open for the challenge, and that's going.
I just think this is going to be a very tough challenge for the Eagles. It's going to be a very tough challenge,
in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to come down to Jalen. It's going to come down to me for the Eagles. You're going to need the passing game to be.
It's going to come down to Jalen Hurts.
So
Jalen Hurts is going to have to be that 2 years ago. Jalen Hurts that made that Super Bowl run that they ended up.
He was the best player on the goddamn field.
He's going to have to be the best weapon, best player on the field for the Eagles to be able to beat the Rams, and nobody thought we'd be saying that happened to the season.
No. But those are the games that are this weekend that are going to determine who we get in the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship game. We're going to be locked into those games for you guys. We'll be talking to you guys about those next week. Again, football, and unfortunately the NFL is almost coming to an end. We're that much closer to the Super Bowl and February 9th in New Orleans, which is going to be rocking. Well, what else do you like? Is there anything else you want to add, my guy?
I just know if Patrick Mahomes wins this weekend, Saturday at I believe 3:30, it will put him at 16 wins, which will tie him second
all time with Joe Montana.
Joe Montana behind
Tom Brady.
Great Tom Brady.
So, and that's crazy to think. Patrick's played in 18 playoff games, going on to his 19th playoff game tomorrow. Saturday. Sorry, not tomorrow. Saturday will be coming to his 19th playoff game. So far, he's won 15 of his 18 playoff games. Never been nothing less of an AFC Championship game since he's been a starter.
That's the one thing that I'm kind of looking forward to see the Chiefs finally. Really, we've been after that Chiefs football for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have. So, but again, we're gonna keep you posted on them games. Like we said, guys, hit that subscribe button. We are coming jam-packed with so much stuff. I know you guys are probably looking for us to get into other sports talk. We're getting there, but there's just so much football. We have to cover all the football. But make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week with the results of these games.